dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Macy Marie. Around 5 o'clock this morning, a mudslide in Johnson County trapped multiple families. It happened in the Island Creek community of Paintsville on Kentucky 3388. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked to road crews about why this is not a typical slide.
A continuous mess.
During the whole time we were moving it, it kept falling.
A mudslide closed a portion of Kentucky 3388 in Johnson County around 5 o'clock Sunday morning.
So I called one of my men out to meet me here. We got here, had the road completely blocked.
Highway Supervisor Barry Spriggs and his crew with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet District 12 have worked constantly to keep the slide out of the road.
We're just monitoring it right now because there'll probably be more come off.
Spriggs says the recent rainy weather is the cause of the slide.
It's hard telling what's going on back there, but something's caused water to seep in the ground and push it out.
When mudslides cover roads, the pavement becomes extremely slick, making it dangerous for drivers passing through.
They can see the mud on the road here, but they don't seem to faze people. They just want to go to wherever they're going. They don't pay no attention to what's going on.
Spriggs says drivers should be cautious while driving through areas prone to these slides.
We'll put some signs out and some cones, kind of warn them a little bit.
A messy situation.
Water will find a way out.
In Johnson County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Right now, that slide is cleaned up, but drivers should still use caution in the area. Officials say if the slide does get worse, they will close the road again. 33 years ago today, a tornado devastated parts of Lexington. Then Mayor Scotty Baesler declared a state of emergency. According to the National Weather Service, the tornado started near Tates Creek Road and Manowar Boulevard before lifting at Richmond Road. No one was killed, but traveling at 100 to 200 miles per hour, the twister damaged 845 homes and businesses, including the Tates Creek Golf Course.
I'm sure a program will be improvised to try to replace some of the trees that we have lost there.
Last week was Severe Weather Awareness Week. Wednesday was the statewide tornado drill aimed at preparing people for disasters, much like this one. Today was the last day of the WYMT East Kentucky Sport, Boat, and RV Show. Since Friday, nearly 2,000 people packed the Expo Center over in Pikeville. From fishing for the kids to hot sauce, there were around 25 vendors for anybody to enjoy. One new business set up for the first time this year. Fish Trap Dam is getting a makeover. It's now called East Kentucky Marina, and co-owner Teresa Thomas says Eastern Kentucky needs more tourism.
Tourism is a huge part of what we need in this area, because if we bring in more tourism, it's going to grow the businesses, it's going to grow the local economy, and that's what we need here.
They plan to have a floating water park, paddle boats, and even a restaurant. Thomas says she hopes to have the marina up and running for Memorial Day weekend.
And we saw a beautiful Sunday, and now we're seeing calm conditions as we head into the overnight hours. You'll notice that on our Whitesburg cam, where we're really not even dealing with some fog, not quite yet. Maybe a little patchy fog as we head into the overnight hours, but overall, you'll notice on satellite and radar just a few of those clouds in our area, nothing too major. Those temperatures anywhere from the upper 40s to lower 50s, so not too bad outside. We'll see those temperatures drop a little bit into the overnight hours. Winds have calmed down a little bit as well. They were out of the southwest earlier, anywhere from 5, 10, 15 miles per hour. Now they're kind of shifting out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. So we'll see those temperatures drop, especially as we head into your Monday and Tuesday, but they'll still be warm, especially compared to last week. We'll also see sunshine continue as we head into the new work week, and we'll bring back those scattered rain chances. We'll talk about that and more coming up in just a little bit. Macy.
All right, thank you, Paige. Definitely a beautiful day out today. A well-known southeastern Kentuckian died on Thursday. Ewell Baltrip was known for his nonprofit work and as a journalist. WYMT's Lauren McCord sat down with family and friends to talk about the legacy he left behind.
A familiar name in eastern Kentucky, Ewell Baltrip.
He was a champion for southeastern Kentucky.
During Baltrip's lifetime, he held many titles, but the one most important to him was father.
And I tell you what, he had great taste too. He never picked out a gown that was not just like spot on.
His two children, Amanda and Andy, say their dad was a jack of all trades.
Great sense of humor, humble, understanding, comforting.
Patient.
Yes.
I think he needed it with both of us.
And never stopped fighting for his passion.
He's always been a fighter.
Yeah.
Fight for everything he believes in.
Believing in Eastern Kentucky, his home.
He fought to make sure that life was better in Eastern and Southern Kentucky.
Waltrip worked with many in his career, including WKYT's Barbara Bailey.
Ewell is by far the best journalist I've ever worked with.
Taking her under his wing while she was still in college.
One day he threw a book at me, almost hit me, but it got my attention. I said, "What in the world was that?" And he said, "It's a dictionary. Use it."
Some say he was known as an expert on Appalachia.
He was a go-to guy for state and national news media when they would come to Harlan to cover events.
Caring not only about the stories he covered,
and he just cared about the people of the region and wanted to make it better for everybody.
But also the people in the region. In Somerset, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
Waltrip's funeral took place today at 5 p.m. at the Southern Oaks Funeral Home in Somerset. The widow of a West Virginia coal miner killed in the 2010 Upper Big Branch mine explosion settled a lawsuit against the federal government. She'll get $550,000. Her husband was one of 29 men killed. The lawsuit accused the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration of ignoring warning signs at the mine. Police in West Virginia say a city official was charged with driving drunk. News outlets report Wheeling City Manager Robert Herron was charged with aggravated driving under the influence. Wheeling Mayor Glenn Elliott says in a statement, no one was seriously injured in Saturday night's crash. Elliott says because a city official was involved, Wheeling police called the Ohio County Sheriff's Office to investigate. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice fired State Transportation Secretary and Highways Commissioner Tom Smith. Justice announced Smith's firing in a brief statement on Sunday. The governor says he wants a new direction for the department, including a return to the core mission of maintaining the quality of our secondary roads and bridges. The West Virginia legislature ends its regular session Sunday, which dealt heavily with education. The legislature is now moving into overtime while dealing with teacher pay raises and other education issues. Lawmakers started a special session that is expected to reconvene later this year. Governor Jim Justice asked legislators to meet with teachers and parents before returning. A reunion will be held in Mansfield, Ohio for cast members of The Shawshank Redemption. The town will host tours and events in August to celebrate the movie's 25th anniversary. Actors scheduled to appear include Bob Gunton, William Sadler, and Mark Rolston. The movie was filmed almost entirely in the northern Ohio city. 157 people were killed when a U.S.-made airplane crashed in East Africa this morning. Among the dead were 8 Americans. The plane was a new Boeing 737 MAX, the same model involved in the Lion Air tragedy in October. CBS's DeMarco Morgan reports.
This field is where Ethiopia Airlines Flight 302 went down on Sunday morning. 149 passengers and 8 crew members were on board. There were no survivors. First responders spent the day scouring the crash site for victims' remains, as well as any clues as to why this happened.
That will obviously rely heavily on the 2 black boxes, the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder.
The plane went down just 6 minutes into its flight to Nairobi, Kenya.
We are very, very saddened. Our heart is broken.
The chief executive of Ethiopia Airlines said the Boeing 737 MAX 8 was new, having been delivered to his company in November.
At this stage, we cannot rule out anything.
In October, another Boeing 737 MAX crashed into the Java Sea off Indonesia, killing 189 people. That tragedy also happened just after takeoff.
Well, I think there has to be a thorough investigation by the FAA and the NTSB as to whether these planes are safe, because there are just too many coincidences.
The U.S. has sent 4 members of the National Transportation Safety Board to Ethiopia to assist in the crash investigation. They'll be joined by a team of technical advisors from Boeing. DeMarco Morgan, CBS News, New York.
Those victims came from at least 35 different countries. The identities of the Americans who were on board have not yet been made public. Severe turbulence over the Atlantic Ocean tossed terrified passengers and crew members around a Turkish airplane cabin on Saturday, with 30 people suffering bumps, bruises, cuts, and a broken leg before the flight landed safely at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport. Dozens of ambulances lined up in front of a terminal to quickly treat the injured coming off the flight that left Istanbul for the 10-hour trip. One flight attendant had a broken leg. Still to come on Mountain News Weekend Edition, a young Kentucky fan needs the help of Big Blue Nation. We'll tell you how you can support him. And no one won the Powerball jackpot in 2019 as the grand prize edges ever closer to $500 million.
And sunshine and warmer temperatures continue over the next few days. We'll break down that full forecast in just a few minutes.